What happens if you take evolution simulation video game The Sapling, design a planet, design a basic alga and a really simple aquatic animal, and then turn on random mutations for millions of in-game years? How will life evolve? That is what this YouTube series called Evolution Simulated is about. In this episode, we start with an archipelago teeming with underwater life, but only this island hosts land animals. Many of these land animals have a semi-aquatic lifestyle though, so it's only a matter of time until some of them find their way to other islands. Where will they go? And how will they grow apart on the other islands? The answer to the where question is perhaps surprising. It's this small patch of land. But as populations keep growing, they quickly find their way to the larger islands left and right. The animals on the northeastern island, meanwhile, reach the one in the center. They don't arrive where you might expect though, because the coast here is too steep to climb. They eventually reach this beach to make their way onto land. Underwater ecosystems have been pretty stable for thousands of years, but with the explosive growth of this new semi-aquatic animal, things are shaken up quite a bit. Most importantly, the widespread egg laying creates an abundant new food source. This new niche is occupied by this new carnivore, which quickly establishes itself as the most successful animal in the sea. Soon after, even an obligate carnivore branches off. The original inhabitants begin to decline, with the filter-feeding animals specialized for the floating algae being the first to go extinct. The oceans look a lot more colorful as a result. One of the more dangerous regions where the predators reign lies here. This prevents the semi-aquatic herbivores from making the journey westwards, because the vast majority of eggs and young are eaten. But, as happens more often in this game, the presence of the carnivores also creates a pressure for the other underwater creatures living in the same area to move onto land, which leads to the second animal family taking the step. Unfortunately for us, it again lives in an environment where it can hide in tall grass. In the previous episode, we saw how the right instincts to survive in the shadow below the planet's rings led to a new successful species on the eastern island, by chance with a new, more turquoise color. Now, thousands of years later, this species is thriving and is becoming a major species on the eastern island. Interestingly, we see the exact same thing happening on the center island, and the cold-avoiding species here is brown, and here too experiences exponential success. For this brown species, there's even a darker variant with a tail, better adapted for swimming between all the small islands here. And it has an additional advantage, a womb. While it still lays eggs, the embryos inside are much further developed and hatch within a few days, making them less vulnerable to the egg-eating predators underwater. It's this better swimmer that eventually manages to reach the western island. The animal family it encounters here is looking rather strange. But perhaps even stranger than its looks is its temperament. Because if we look at the most common causes of death for this animal, we see killed in this list. The killers here are not the newcomers on this island who are gentle plant eaters. No, this is actually an instinct shared by all animal families that originally inhabited the island. Attack if you feel pain. This is what happens. Several plant species here have leaves that inflict pain when they are eaten. Combined with this instinct, this pain triggers some sort of rage, causing them to attack other animals around them, which will respond by attacking too, until somebody dies. What once began as an accidental reaction chain turns out to be an evolutionary advantage though, because these animals eat meat, and in this game there is no meat so full of energy as a fresh kill. Usually, when a new animal arrives in an area that already has animals, it either occupies a different niche and the animals live side by side, or it occupies the same niche and one of the two drives the other to extinction. This case is different though. There are important differences in diet and lifestyle that should make it possible for these animals to live side by side, but there's also some overlap. The herbivores are decreasing the omnivores' food supply, and the aggressive omnivores are hurting the herbivores. So instead, after some time, these two species naturally divide the area, with the newcomer herbivores living in the center and the original population living north and south, minimizing competition. Besides meat and leaves, both animals in theory could also eat seeds as part of their diet, but because the plant species here, and also the plants on the other islands, descend from ancestors with floating nuts, nearly all of them have seeds that are inedible by most of the mouths available in the game. There are mouths to get around that, of course, so it's only a matter of time before that happens, and we indeed do find an animal species adapted for nut eating here. At this point, two areas on this planet have been exceptionally friendly to herbivores for a long time, namely here and here. Interestingly, at both places, the abundance of food and the absence of predators have had the same consequence. The animals have reached colossal proportions. The giants on the eastern island in particular are fully adapted for this large land herbivore niche, being one of the few clades that lost their back fin. But besides established herbivores, new ones emerge too, like here. Unlike the earlier herbivores, these ones have retained their aggressive nature, constantly attacking each other and defending their territory. This means there still is a lot of fresh meat lying around, so it doesn't take long before we see the first land animal truly specialized for it. While there have been plenty of animals that occasionally ate meat as part of their diet, this animal with its distinctive pointy teeth is the first one to have meat as its primary source of food. With that predator in place, everything stabilizes for quite a while, which might be our cue to zoom out a bit and have a look at all the variety that we have seen on the various islands. As of the latest update to the game, if you would want to shake up ecosystems, you could drop a meteorite, or lower the sea level so islands connect, or create an ice age. And if you are a YouTuber or aspiring YouTuber, feel free to explore the effects of events like that in a video of your own. I've made sure to include all the tools I use to make these videos in the game itself, so really anyone can do it. But for me personally, guys, I have such a cool idea for a new update to the game. It's time I get back to work. See you in a few months.